Let's get started. Number 10, the Troxler Effect. Go find a mirror, dim the lights. Stare at your own reflection for 10 minutes. Keep your eyes fixed on one spot. Your face will start to melt. Your features will twist and distort. And in about 66% of people who try this, something far worse happens. You'll see a monster staring back at you. A researcher named Giovanni Caputo ran this experiment in 2010. 50 people stared into mirrors in dim lighting. 28% saw a stranger's face. 18% saw animals. Nearly half reported seeing monstrous beings where their reflection should be. When you stare at one fixed point, your neurons start ignoring everything in your peripheral vision. Your brain decides those unchanging features aren't important, so it just deletes them. Then it panics and fills in the gaps with whatever it can find. Sometimes that means demons you saw in horror movies when you were 12. This is probably why the Bloody Mary game actually works. Stare into a dark mirror long enough, and your brain will show you something horrifying. No ghost required. Number 9, phantom vibration syndrome. You felt your phone buzz in your pocket. You reach for it. Nothing. No notification. Your phone wasn't even on vibrate. About 80% of smartphone users deal with this. One study found 89% of college students had experienced it, with 40% saying it happened at least once a week. Your brain is hallucinating phone notifications that don't exist. Your nervous system has become so conditioned to expect your phone's vibration that it misinterprets random signals. A muscle twitch, your pants rubbing against your leg. Any tiny sensation near your pocket gets flagged as a text message. The first recorded mention was in a 1996 Dilbert comic about phantom pager syndrome. We've been hallucinating our devices for almost 30 years. Your body has been programmed by your phone. Number 8, sleep paralysis. You wake up in the middle of the night, you can see your room, you're conscious, but you can't move, and then you notice something in the corner, a dark figure watching you. It starts moving closer. You try to scream, but nothing comes out. About 8% of people experience this at some point. Students get it more often, around 28%, and 40% of those people hallucinate something in the room with them. For 90% of that group, whatever they see is terrifying. When you enter REM sleep, your brain paralyzes your body so you don't act out your dreams. Sometimes you wake up before the paralysis wears off. Your eyes open, but your muscles are still locked. And because your brain is still half dreaming, it projects nightmare imagery into your actual bedroom. Every culture has a name for this. In Japan, it's kanashibari. Medieval Europeans blame demons called incubi. The word nightmare literally comes from Old English for a demon that sits on your chest. Knowing the science doesn't make it any less terrifying when you're frozen in bed watching a shadow creature approach. Number 7, hypnagogic hallucinations. You're drifting off to sleep, not quite unconscious yet, and suddenly you see spiders crawling across your ceiling, or a shadow figure in your doorway, or you hear someone call your name when nobody else is home. About 37% of people get these as they fall asleep. Your brain starts dreaming before you're fully unconscious and projects that content into the real world. Dark, shadowy figures are the most common. For some reason, your brain defaults to humanoid shapes when it malfunctions. You might also hear conversations, doorbells, or your name being called. Some people feel physical sensations like something touching them. One guy described always seeing a man in a hat at the foot of his bed during childhood. Night after night, his brain conjured this image from nothing. Number 6, exploding head syndrome. You're falling asleep, and suddenly there's a gunshot inside your skull, or a bomb going off. You jolt awake, heart pounding, convinced something terrible happened. But everything is quiet. There was no sound. Between 10 and 37% of people experience this at some point. They hear explosions, gunfire, cymbals crashing, or doors slamming right next to their ear. Some also see a flash of light right before it happens. Your brain is misfiring during the shutdown sequence. When you fall asleep, your auditory neurons are supposed to gradually power down. With exploding head syndrome, instead of shutting down smoothly, they all fire at once. The result is your brain generating the perception of an impossibly loud noise from absolutely nothing. Think of it like a computer crashing instead of shutting down properly. Your neurons scream in unison before going dark. Number 5. Intrusive thoughts. You're standing at the edge of a cliff, enjoying the view, and your brain suddenly whispers, "Jump." You're holding a knife and it says, "Stab." You're driving and it suggests, "Swerve into oncoming traffic." The French call this l'appel du vide, the call of the void. Over 50% of people who have never had suicidal thoughts still experience it. More than half of students with zero history of suicidal ideation reported feeling the urge to jump when standing somewhere high. Your brain runs constant worst-case scenario simulations as a survival mechanism. It tests what would happen if you did the worst thing right now, then rejects that option. The problem is sometimes you become aware of these background processes. Researchers think the call of the void might actually be your brain affirming your will to live. When you step back from a ledge, your safety circuits activated before you consciously registered them. Your rational brain catches up and asks, "Why did I step back?" And it concludes, "Oh, I must have wanted to jump." You misinterpret a safety signal as a death wish. Number 4, third man syndrome. You're lost in the wilderness, starving, freezing, dying, and suddenly you sense someone walking beside you. You turn to look, but nobody's there. Yet the feeling persists. Something is guiding you to safety. Ernest Shackleton experienced this during his Antarctic expedition in 1916. After his ship was crushed by ice, he and 2 companions marched 36 hours across glaciers. All 3 men independently reported sensing a 4th presence walking with them. Frank Smythe nearly summited Everest alone in 1933. He became so convinced someone was with him that he broke his food ration in half and offered it to thin air. Survivors of the Twin Towers reported a presence guiding them down smoke-filled stairwells. Mountain climbers, shipwreck survivors, and polar explorers report this most often. Your brain creates a helper when you need one most. It literally invents a guardian angel because you're more likely to survive if you think someone is helping you. Number 3. Déjà Rêvé. You're going about your day when you're hit with overwhelming certainty. You've dreamed this exact moment before. Not déjà vu, where things feel vaguely familiar. This is specific. You remember the dream. You saw this conversation, this room, this person, in your sleep months ago. 95% of people surveyed had experienced this at least once. Unlike déjà vu, you're specifically linking the current moment to a dream you believe you actually had. Researchers have identified 3 types. Episodic, where you can pinpoint the exact night you had the dream. Familiarity-based, where you have a hazy sense you dreamed this but can't place when. And the dreamy state, where reality itself starts feeling like a dream you're trapped inside. Scientists actually induce this experience using electrical brain stimulation. It's connected to your temporal lobes, the same regions involved in memory. Your brain may be misfiling current experiences as old memories, or pulling fragments from actual dreams and matching them to present reality. Number 2, alien hand syndrome. Your hand reaches out and grabs something. You didn't tell it to do that. Your hand starts unbuttoning your shirt while you're trying to button it. Your hand slaps you across the face. Your hand wraps around your own throat and starts squeezing. This is real. It's called alien hand syndrome, sometimes called Dr. Strangelove syndrome, after the movie character who couldn't control his Nazi saluting arm. It happens after brain surgery, stroke, or damage to the corpus callosum, the bridge connecting your brain's 2 hemispheres. The affected hand performs complex goal-directed actions entirely without your consent. One woman's hand stroked her own face and hair while she watched television. She had no control over it. Some patients start talking to their hand in third person, scolding it like a misbehaving child. Others resort to sitting on it or tying it down. The hand isn't random twitching. It's acting with apparent purpose, just not your purpose. Part of your brain has declared independence and started running its own agenda. You're stuck watching your own body betray you. Number 1, Capgras Delusion. Your wife walks into the room. You recognize her face. You know it's her face. But something is wrong. That's not your wife. That's an imposter wearing your wife's skin. Someone has replaced her with an identical duplicate. Capgras Delusion is when you become absolutely convinced that people you love have been replaced by lookalikes. Usually it affects the people closest to you. Spouses, parents, children. You can see they look the same. But the emotional recognition is gone. Your brain concludes the only explanation is that they must be fake. It shows up most often in people with schizophrenia, dementia, or after brain injuries. In one case, a mother became convinced. Her 9-year-old daughter had been stolen and replaced. She would show up at school refusing to pick up the imposter child, screaming for them to return her real daughter. Scientists think it happens when the connection between facial recognition and emotional response gets severed. You see a familiar face but feel nothing. No warmth, no love. Your brain, rather than accepting it might be malfunctioning, constructs an elaborate explanation. This person cannot possibly be who they appear to be, because I feel nothing when I look at them. Imagine looking at someone you've loved for decades and feeling only cold emptiness. And your brain's solution is not, I'm sick. It's, they're not real. That's all for today. If you enjoyed learning about the glitches running in the background of your mind, subscribe for more videos like this. I'll see you in the next one.